It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is the Action Sports Jax postgame show, sponsored by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
We did it! What a day in Jacksonville! Remember we said that back in April or May, whenever the draft was, late April. We did it! The Jaguars get Trevor Lawrence. Well, today, it kind of looked like the Trevor Lawrence that everybody thought they would get. And not only do the Jaguars upset and spoil Indianapolis, the Colts are most likely out of the postseason. But in doing so, the Jaguars still clinched the #1 overall pick, didn't lose any ground because Detroit won. When was the last time the Lions and Jags won on the same weekend in the NFL?
It was, I was thinking about this. I don't know if I've ever can remember a more stunning win for this team. You could say the Denver playoff game in '96. They were 15.5-point underdogs. They had lost 8 games in a row. Indy had to win. This wasn't a mail-it-in game. Indy had to win to go to the playoffs.
The Bills game was stunning too.
Yeah, I guess so.
But because of that was still the middle of the season.
But we were playing a little bit better.
Yeah,
we were like,
we just got beat 50-10.
Yeah,
and this game didn't matter to the Jags.
But the best part, and it's great to get a win, but to me, the best part is watching Trevor play the best half of football he's played in his career,
Absolutely.
in his NFL career. I'm a little disappointed they didn't let him keep going. He threw for 208 in the first half, which was tremendous. A couple touchdowns today. His play of the year was a trick play, I think. He bobbles it, drops it, picks it up, runs away, and then throws a touchdown.
And by the way, threw a nice lob touchdown, showed the finesse in the touch. Nice catch by Marvin Jones. And then, listen, we'll over-exaggerate that play a little bit, but that's a play that not a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL make. He's 6'6" just to get the snap. He eluded pressure, and then he made the throw and didn't just throw it away. If Patrick Mahomes makes that play, you're seeing it all over the place for the next 3 weeks. So it was that kind of play. That was a heck of a play.
And to ruin Indy's season here, how they let that happen. Understand, as bad as it's been around here, we weren't going to the playoffs this year anyway. The meltdown in Indy will be epic.
I can't imagine watching that game if I was an Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, my gosh. So the defense came to play for the first time. Remember, they gave up 181 rushing yards to the Patriots. They gave up 273 rushing yards to the Jets. And, Jonathan Taylor never really got a chance to get going. The Jags got the lead. The first drive was as good a drive as I've seen all year. What was Trevor on the first drive?
8 for 8.
Marvin Jones I joked to you that you should make Marvin Jones every week. Marvin, if you catch 4 balls, we'll give you $500,000. Because he went out and got 3 like that.
Yeah. And by the way, they hit a 3rd and 12 and a 3rd and 10 on that first drive.
Yeah.
And you look at some of the numbers. Look at 6 sacks for this defense. I actually could contend it was a better defensive performance than the one against the Bills.
Yeah.
Because then they almost had 5 turnovers. They forced 3 fumbles. They only got 1. They picked off 1 ball. They almost had 2. They really played well, a complete game. And I'll tell you what, I thought the defense was so sound. No busted coverages, no silly penalties. And then Matthew Wright chipped in. I really do think the Jags have to fix their red zone offense because they were inside the 5 twice and had to settle for field goals.
I kind of thought, I'm not going to be disappointed about a win, okay?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
And we weren't going to go, like I said, to the playoffs.
I've been negative enough for the last 6 weeks.
But the small but is, gosh, we kind of thought this was going to happen after the Buffalo game, right? Yeah. So they beat the Bills 9-6, and so now we're going to start seeing a competitive NFL team. We're not going to win them all, but the defense can play well, and then the offense plays good enough because we're limited on offense, let's be honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay? But
still only had like 300 and something yards.
Yeah, but if the offense plays well enough, we can get a few wins along the way. Well, that didn't happen. We went backwards. We got worse. Everything happened off the field, and so finally, I don't know what it was. I have no idea. But they fixed things today, and it came out. Maybe Bevell said, listen, you guys win, you can leave tonight. Maybe Balky said, I'm staying, and I'll bring every one of you back if you play well. I don't know what happened. But somehow, some way, they put together a great performance.
Let's hope neither of the things you just said happened. But, listen, it shows you something about the NFL, right? The NFL, these guys are prideful. And they play. They play week to week. They didn't quit. They busted their butt today. Yeah. They put on a good performance. And you know what else? It feels good when the Jags win no matter what.
Right.
Because this place feels nice today.
And it was electric.
It was good.
It was a
great
really
crowd.
Nice crowd. Let's not forget where we stand. The Jags are 2-14 heading into this game.
And Dan, I've never experienced more negative momentum going to an end of the season and offseason than this one.
I saw a guy on my walk in. I'm talking to the fans, and they're like, "One more, Dan, one more." I mean, but God bless them.
We all felt that way.
But now they leave happy, and it's just, it's great. And listen, the ones who came with the clown suits, I would have done it. But if you're passionate that way, hey, so be it. Be passionate, and that's what they are. The ones who are here, they're passionate. They want to see their team win.
And by the way, for you wondering out there, I took a picture. I went up to the top deck and tried to, and there were a decent amount of clown costumes, more so like the headgear and the wig, and people had noses on. But you really had to look for it.
Yeah.
So this wasn't. I thought this could have been an embarrassing day for the franchise. They could have got thumped. They could have had the clown stuff be the story. Instead, the story will be the performance on the field, and it will be Trevor Lawrence going into the offseason a little bit.
Tomorrow, we'll look at the film and talk about how Trevor performed and how his half of football, how he was so good. He was decisive through darts today. I mean, he looked great out there.
Really did.
This is a team that was second in the NFL, I think, in interceptions.
Yeah. Jags didn't turn it over today.
Some of us may have had Trevor in the under on 18.5 for the year. Well, if he threw 2 today, we're losers. But now we're winners, and everybody's happy.
So Trevor finishes 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. I will say this, and I know if you follow me on social media, I thought there were several times this year they could have got him more touchdowns.
Oh, for sure.
And today was another one of those days. And listen, it is what it is. They won the football game. You try to win the football game. But I think teams like Dak Prescott and guys like Patrick Mahomes, they feed them touchdowns sometimes inside the 10-yard line. They didn't today.
Indy today, right now, are just furious with number 2.
Yeah, Carson Wentz did not play well.
Until those last couple drives, he was like 9 of 20 for 100 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, they
a
were
lot of missed throws.
And by the way, vaunted offensive line that I've been told about.
Jags beat them up in the trenches.
I mean, it's pro football. It's the beauty of the NFL. And if we had just gotten there to this point this year, to the parity level, to the, hey,
we can play with anybody.
We can play.
Yeah.
We'll be in the games. We'll be competitive. Yeah. But we weren't for 8 straight Sundays. And that was what was so depressing about this year, that it was the same old, same old. But to end on this high note, again, does momentum mean anything? No. We're having a lot of new faces coming in. So for Trevor, I think this has got to be a jolt of confidence, man. And the way that this kid handled everything this year and to come out and play like that today, hey, hats off to him. I mean, talk about the guys he was throwing to at times today.
Well, by the way, we can't dismiss 5 more drops today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He threw a ball to a guy today with the last name Sargent.
He did. Who's from Key West High School.
Is he? Yeah. He's the one. The only Sargent I know was Dick Sargent from Bewitched.
Bewitched. I was thinking you were going to say Sergeant Slaughter.
Bewitched.
I do remember Bewitched. I'm waiting to see, by the way, the reason I'm looking up on my phone right now here on the postgame show is will we see a statement from Shad Khan at all about Trent Baalke now?
Oh, I don't think so. Not right away. Do you?
A lot of times at the end of the year, you'll get one, maybe later tonight or tomorrow.
Those are the fans.
We got some Steeler fans watching. Yeah,
they cheer, I'm cheering.
Here's what happened. Indianapolis loses. Steelers now can win. They're in overtime against Baltimore.
Yes.
And a lot of other things could happen if the Steelers lose, including Indianapolis could still make the playoffs.
Yeah, they should forfeit their right to go to the playoffs. With today's performance, they should not accept a post. It should be like a college football team with major change. We're not going to go to the bowl. We don't deserve it.
Yeah.
They don't deserve it. And they were terrible. But again, a lot of that is because of the way the Jags played. Josh Allen, where have you been, my man?
I know.
Maybe it was that sweat on the butt he gave you.
He did. Pregame show. Countdown to kickoff. That hurt.
But 2 sacks today, 7.5 for the year. But like 5 of them were in 2 games.
Yeah, he really did seem to disappear for a while. He had DeJuan Smoot got in there.
Yeah.
DeJuan Smoot is a good player for the Jags. He's the kind of players you need. He's not a blue chip player, but he's a good player. And here's DeJuan Smoot heading to the podium right now. Let's hear from number 91, who's had back-to-back really good seasons for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm ready.
Hey, DeJuan, how good does it feel to get a win today?
Feels great. Feels good to end on a high note. After all this turmoil that we went through throughout the whole season, a lot of distractions, a lot of things, it's good to just get back in, and really just get that W. So it feels great.
DeJuan, as this game wore on, did you get any kind of a sense, because of all the harassment that you had done with Wentz all day, that he was starting to get a little bit jittery in the pocket? Because it certainly seemed that way.
Oh, yeah, we were in his face all day, and he was definitely feeling it from the batted pass to the first series all the way down to the Gotsis getting the sack in the fourth quarter. I mean, he was battered the whole time. We felt it. We knew he threw a couple picks, so he was going to start holding it. So we just started teeing off, just pinning our ears back, and it worked out.
DeJuan, was there anything different about this week that gave you, did you feel like a game like this was coming? This is clearly the most complete game you guys have played all year. Was there something different about this week, or the message different, anything else? It
was just go out there and play at the end of the day. I mean, it's our last game, last opportunity, last time all of us going to be together. So, I mean, we just all just leaned on each other, and we're just like, we got nothing to lose, so we might as well just go out and win, So.
What was the locker room like for you guys after the game?
I mean, everyone was yelling. I'm still tired from it, as you can see. I'm trying to just get some Gatorade in. But, yeah, we celebrated a lot. They're still in there dancing right now.
And then the $250,000 bonus, did you know going into the day that was on the line?
Oh, yeah, I definitely did. Me and my wife, she told me don't come home if I don't get the sack. So I got him coming home.
How many diapers will that buy?
You said what?
How many diapers will that buy?
Life supply.
DeJuan, can you just speak on the momentum that this gives you and the team moving forward, despite ending with 3 wins, just what it means to you to leave the way that you're leaving this season?
We're ending on a high note and something to look forward to, in the offseason, just like thinking back, like, okay, yeah, we ended on a high note, we ended on a W. Let's just build on that. Let's build onto that, and let's just keep it going. I mean, a lot of the guys that's coming back, a lot of the guys that signed contracts in the last couple of years is coming back, so we just got to keep that same mindset. Just come out there and don't worry about nothing. Just go out there and play. So.
DeJuan, for you, being on the COVID list, some of the struggles you guys faced this last week, how do you prepare for a game with only half of you in the building and then to turn out a performance like this? Like, how does that happen?
I mean, we've been playing football for a long time. It's just kind of like you just get out there and you play. As long as you make sure your body's up to par. I mean, like for me, I came in on Thursday, didn't really practice, tired. I just got with Schleg. We ran some sprints, tried to just get my blood flowing and, get my heart going. So, I mean, that's all it was. It's just making sure that your body's ready when you come back out there. So,
DeJuan, the younger guys on defense made. Tyson's been Tyson lately. Andre Cisco made some plays, but Jay Tafele caved the line in a few times and got in there and everything. So, how much does it do your heart good to see those guys playing well?
It's great. I mean, just seeing all these young guys coming in. We got a lot of young guys and a lot of guys. It's like they're ballers. We got a lot of young ballers. So, I mean, just to see that. They're killing it out there. They're not flinching when there's pressure. That's huge, and that's going to be huge for next year too.
DeJuan, I'm back over here. Okay. Obviously, this team will have a new head coach next year. It will have presumably new coaches. What did this group, this defense, say today to whoever that new coach is, and what this group may need and what it can offer to a potential head coach?
It's letting them know that we got playmakers over here. After all the things we went through this whole season, even last game when they put up 50 on us. I mean, just showing them that we willing to fight back no matter what. Whoever we going against, whatever O-line. Apparently, they were saying that this is the best O-line. We came out there and dominated. So that's just showing whoever comes in here, you're going to get a solid group.
Just wanted to ask you. You not only got a victory, but you also landed the number 1 pick. Can you just give a reaction to achieving both of those today?
I mean, it's bittersweet. That's a hard question right there. It's different. We won. It's good, but at the same time, we're still rebuilding. So that's going to be huge. Going forward, whatever we end up doing with it. I trust the front office, and I feel like we're going to be able to turn this around really soon.
Hey, DeJuan, you've been through a few off seasons in your career. Is there such thing as taking momentum into the off season, and could a win today help with that or achieve that?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I know for me, each off season's the same. I take 2 weeks off, and then I'm back in the gym before February. So, I mean, for me, it's the same thing. But I mean, for other guys, especially younger guys, just knowing that we can do something. We can do something with these guys, and them just working in the off season, just knowing that we can come out there and get a dub. Good. All right. Appreciate you.
All righty, that is DeJuan Smoot, and DeJuan Smoot has had himself a nice year.
Real nice.
For the Jacksonville Jaguars for back-to-back years. Led the team in sacks a year ago, 6.5. I think he'll probably end up with right around that number again.
6 sacks today. What do you? I don't know the number for the Jags for the year, but those 6 today certainly helped them.
Yeah, they were up, I think, over 30 plus.
Yeah.
And remember at the beginning of the year, Joe Cullen said he could double the 18.
Yeah.
They came close if they did. The big thing is the turnovers. They need to get more. They had 5 opportunities today. They only got 2.
They only got
that
2,
gave them 9 all year,
Went
Dan.
through the pick and he lost the fumble, and that was it.
That was it. Dan, 9 turnovers all year in a 17-game season. That just doesn't get it done. Now, I will say this. They had some opportunities throughout the year, and maybe next year those cash in. You know, maybe the ball goes the right way, and you get those. But you got to do better in the turnover category, both offensively, not giving it up, obviously Trevor, and forcing more of them.
Well, look, going forward, a lot of big decisions coming for Shad Khan. He's going to have to make decisions on the general manager. He's going to have to make a decision on who he wants to bring in as the next head coach. They have the number 1 pick again. They have $70 million in free agency money to spend, but they have got to hit on the draft picks. We have watched them pick in the top 10 for something like 10 of the last 11 years. And it's a lot.
Hey, Weber, why don't we just watch the fans celebrate over here?
Yeah.
So are there Steeler fans over here?
Are those Steeler fans, Weber? So are they in field goal position?
Inside the 20.
Inside the 20 now.
First down. At worst, it'll be a tie.
At worst, the tie would trend. Both teams would be eliminated, Steelers and Baltimore.
The Steelers and Baltimore are playing, and the Steelers, are they in if they win, the Steelers?
I don't know.
They're in if they win.
If they win, they're in.
And
the Vegas Chargers winner will be.
Daryl Bevell is at the podium. One last game for the interim head coach. He likely will be released tomorrow morning or later tonight. Here's Daryl Bevell.
Things didn't go well early. You know, you can sort of let it go. But you just talk about getting off to that great start and pushing it on for 60 minutes.
Yeah, you know, I talked all week just about, you know, all the many reasons why, you know, we should play this game and we should go out and play with this game with heart. You know, one is that we all love this game, you know, and you think back to all the training that you go through in the offseason to be able to get to this point, and you get 17 opportunities to play a game. And, you know, so that's you know, one good reason to go out. Everybody is, I've told you many times in here, we're all being evaluated by what we're putting on tape. You know, you want to be able to go put your best opportunity and best self on tape. You know, we're playing a divisional opponent that had a chance to get in the playoffs. We want to be able to knock them out and have a sweet taste for us and a rough taste for them. And I thought the guys responded. I told them today, you know, right just a few minutes ago, that I was inspired. You know, it's an inspiring game to see guys go out and play as hard as they did, with as much heart, with as much spirit, with as much passion, and it really showed. And, you know, I couldn't be happier for all those guys.
Bev, back here. Looked like one of the more comfortable games for Trevor in the pocket throughout the course of this one. Why did things click today?
Yeah, I mean, we did a good job of getting off to a good start. You know, one of the things that we've done early in the year was, you know, there's a lot of 10-0, 17-0, getting behind. So we were able to stay in the game, a good mix of run and pass. They protected well. You know, we did a good job protecting them. Really cool for him to make a play. Ball snapped over his head. They got pressure coming off the edge. Just stayed calm, got the ball, rolled out, threw a nice ball to Marv. Marv gets his feet in. Just, you know, kind of shows hopefully what the future can hold for Trevor. Really happy for him because he really did stay dialed in this whole season. Tough season for everybody involved, but the way he did and the way everybody responded today, I couldn't be happier.
Hey, Coach, you kind of mentioned how it's been a little bit of a rough season for Trevor and the entire team. How important can getting a win to close out the year be for some of the younger players like Trevor Lawrence going into the offseason as they put in that work to get ready for next year?
Yeah, I mean, if you walk down the hallway, I think you can hear it. You know, the guys were ecstatic. They're all excited. You know, they could go play a few more games. You know, they just because of what happened today. And anytime you win, anytime you play well, it gives you extra confidence, gives you that boost. We just were never able to kind of get that momentum going this year. But again, you know, they just hats off to those guys today for the effort, for the passion, for everything that they showed and how hard they played against a really good football team. Had a chance to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, Coach, pretty nice connection today, especially early between Trevor and Marvin. That's kind of the combination you guys have been envisioned, I guess, when you signed Marvin. But was that just stuff open to Marvin? You know, if it hadn't been, Trevor would have gone elsewhere with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we did want to target Marv. Wanted to get him, some opportunities. When you get, with my experience with him, when you get him going early in the game, then he can get hot. But all of it goes hand in hand. You got to have the protection. The guys were protecting well. Even the play, they hit Marv down the middle of the field for a big gain. Protection was really solid. He's able to kind of get off his read and come back to Marv and make a great play to him. So it was all working together. And again, the guys just played inspired today.
Hey, Daryl, when you have a situation with Marvin needing 4 catches to get a big bonus, do you guys think about that? Do you guys go, hey, look, let's try and get him this bonus. Let's try and get him the ball, especially if it's a close thing like that. Is that something you guys even think about or talk about?
No, absolutely. I mean, we love these guys. These guys work their tails off. And if we can help reward them in any way, we definitely want to be able to do that. And we did know that number going in. But like I said, we were able to just kind of function well. And we always want to be able to get him the ball. Sometimes the defense can dictate against it. But today it worked out well, and we were able to get him those shots. I think he ended up with 7.
Coach, looking at the unique situation. Looking at the situation of being an interim head coach, just what you've taken away from yourself and the task that's been asked of you and how you've seen the rest of the coaching staff respond to end out the season.
Yeah, again, I'm probably using the word proud too much, but, I was just really proud of all the guys involved in this. Very difficult year, a lot of different, different circumstances. And for these guys to be able to stay locked in, and I think it showed today how important it was, how locked in they were. Offense put a great game plan together. Shadi and the staff, Joe and the defensive staff put a great plan together, and it all worked well, and the defense was able to get turnovers. We were able to knock out the run. Offense was able to run the football, throw passes and get completions, get touchdowns, and really just did a great job of staying in and finishing all the way to the end. And, now we'll see what happens.
Coach, when you talk about obviously playing 17 games, everybody has a chance to put film on tape. The guy that stood out to me today was Raquel Armstead. These 17 games are for guys like him that are looking. He was drafted just a few years ago. You got him back, and today he looked pretty good in my eyes. Yeah, there were some guys that later in this year have been able to get opportunities. Whether it's Cisco, whether it's Armstead. We've had Sargent up today to play. Walker Little got a lot of time in there as well. It's always a great thing to see these young guys being able to step up. Jordan Smith was out there, and to see them get opportunities and then to be able to make the most of those opportunities is really gratifying as a coach, and I'm happy for him.
Bev, just kind of building off that. Rock Armstead, obviously, spent time in the hospital, had myocarditis. For him to do what he did, beyond just, making money down the road, what did that say about him as, in the short time you've known him, and what do you think this meant to him? Yeah, I mean, it's amazing sometimes these stories that these guys go through, and, the story for him with the COVID and all the stuff that, how bad it was for him and it hit him. Obviously got cut right when we got here, and then to be able to come back and play like that. I mean, it's exciting, and it shows the fortitude that these guys have, and how much they love this game, how committed they are to it, to fight back from what he did, and then be able to go make those plays out there. Just think it's really cool.
Coach, you mentioned the Colts had a lot to play for today. How much does that actually matter to players in the locker room, what the other team is dealing with or what they might have by winning a game?
We'll use anything we can. We were playing a divisional opponent that had a chance to go in the playoffs, and I think that's enough. But there's so much other. I can't even talk enough about how much these guys work, how hard it is, and all the time that they put in, and the time that people don't see. They see this out here on the field, the 17 games that they get to play, but all the hard work that they put in, really almost year-round nowadays, to get themselves out there. And it's just that's something to play for. And I think it just showed today. Like, you walk down the hall, go listen to what's going on in that locker room, you'll see that it was important to them.
Two more guys.
Steelers won today, so do you have a lot of friends in the Pittsburgh area, or do you expect to have a lot going forward?
To be honest with you, I don't even know what the scenario is, so did that help them?
They're in unless there's a tie tonight. Okay. So the Colts are officially eliminated.
Okay, great. So that's what we were trying to do today. Yes. And actually, I haven't talked to him, but Mike Tomlin and I, we were offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator in Minnesota together, so congrats to him.
Coach, can you just speak to Andre Cisco and just what he's meant to the team here as a rookie this season?
Yeah, it's cool to be able to get him in at the end of the year and to be able, he's also another one of those guys that has fought back, right? He came to us with an injury on his knee, was kind of just able to work himself back in, and he's just did a nice job, and I think he's got a bright future for us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That is Daryl Bevell, the interim head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Had a nice moment right there when asked by Mark Long if he has any friends in Pittsburgh, and he didn't even know the scenario, and he said, oh, the Colts are knocked out? Okay, great. He said he actually worked with Tomlin in Minnesota when he was the OC and Tomlin was the defensive coordinator.
It's a wonderful fraternity when you think about how the NFL
sometimes
works.
too wonderful.
Well, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody, and so that's why they get all their chances.
Here's Shaq Griffin. He's had to answer a lot of questions in losses. I think that's Shaq Griffin, right? Yeah, how about some answers after a win for Shaq Griffin? But he's wearing a lot of jewelry there. He doesn't bring that to Jaguars All Access. Here's Shaq.
The message going into the week was, leave no doubt. Understand you still got one more game to put it on tape. We're not sure what's going to happen between the staff, the coaches, the players. But understand you got one more chance to put it on tape. Leave no doubt, because you never want to be that guy leaving the season saying, "Man, I just wish on this play I would have did a little bit more." You don't want to go into the offseason like that. It will hunt you forever. So, I'm glad everybody got a chance to buy into it, and then the defense showed out amazing. Career high with the 6 sacks. That's amazing. And, I got to give some more credit to the guys in the back end for, holding it off. Rush and cover work together. Coach Joe always said that in the show today. I got to give it up to him for making the calls he made, because everything that he called made sense and it worked. And I love that. I love that. We played great.
Hey, Shaq, you've talked a lot this year about these young players getting used to that winning feeling. How important is it and could it be for them to finish the season with a win and go into the offseason with that the last game that they remember until next year?
That's huge, because that's the momentum that we need. Understand that we can be that team that can go so far. And knocking a team off that had a chance to have a playoff berth, that's huge. It was not a slack-off team that we played against, and they get that W in this critical situation, even for them, going to the offseason with that momentum. I know I'm going to make sure they train the heck out of them, this offseason. I'm staying here, around right here in Jacksonville, hoping guys come back. Said we can train right there in my backyard. I don't care. But my main thing is I want these guys to build off that. I want to be so much better than I was this year, and I hope those guys feel the same way, and I'm going to continue to push them even when we out of season. So, that's my goal. So I'm going to continue to stay on the young guys and make sure we come back right.
Hey, Shaq. So the situation here now, you had a unique opportunity to kind of observe Trevor, and, you practice against him regularly. Tell us how proud you would be of him and his progression from week 1 to now. Like, how good is his metamorphosis into the quarterback he is at this point?
Oh, man, it was huge just to see the maturity level. Understand that Trevor is a guy who had to go through a lot of situations on his team as well. We had a lot of ups and downs. There's so many different scenarios we had to overcome. And Trevor being the head man and making sure everybody stayed on track, on right. At that age, that shows so much maturity. And understand he played his ball. He looks comfortable. He played his game. That was amazing to see that, because you see him starting to get comfortable, and that was amazing to be able to see this from, game 1 all the way until now, and the end of the season the way he did, with a win. I know I can only imagine what he's ready to accomplish going into next year. And this team, especially me, I'm behind him 110%. And I actually told him, I'm wherever you at, man, you call me. I'm gonna come see you. We're gonna be working, because I told him I want to make sure I catch every single football that come to me next year. So I'm gonna be training with him, get with the receivers, whatever it takes to get this team closer now. Now that I'm here, we're gonna make it happen. So I'm proud of that guy. I know he's gonna do some huge things for this team, and I'm with him 110%.
Shaq, you kind of alluded to it at the top. Obviously, you personally were fighting COVID. Several of these guys were, even if I know it's, this new variant isn't as severe. Health-wise, fitness-wise, what sort of obstacles did that present for you guys? Did you have to have guys rotating in and out? Was it a little bit tougher than normal?
Oh, yeah. It was huge for us, because I understand even when I came back, off that COVID list, I couldn't practice the first day. I had to make sure, my breathing and everything. So, it came with a lot. So a lot of people had to step up, step in and be ready. We had a lot of people rotating today on defense, but, man, we made it work. Everybody bought in. We ain't had nobody make an excuse like, oh, man, we missing this guy, or this guy can't play. We all adapted to it. And we made it work for this defense. This team, we took a huge L with the COVID stuff, but like I said, we found a way to make it work. Instead of making excuses about it, we made sure it worked for us, and it did. So I'm proud of those guys for that.
And you also alluded to it, those guys on the back end, Andre Cisco, DT. What'd you think of them?
Huge, man. I've been telling them guys for a long time, man. The situation, your opportunity is going to come. Just make sure you make the best of it. And them guys play hard. You know, I can hear in their voice during the week the plays they said they was going to make. And, man, those guys stepped up in huge ways for this defense. And that's going to show a lot, you know, going into their future. You know, I'm rooting for them guys no matter what. And they're going to do huge things for this team. And I'm excited for those guys. And they did amazing. Because it's not easy stepping up for, you know, some guys to fill in some shoes. And they did that very well.
Shaq, just what you can say it means to you going through the adversity of this season, just what it means to be a Jaguar stepping forward, and what the community of Duval has meant to you, to be behind you and to hear them cheering for you at the end of a game like this.
Man, it was huge. I understand, one, being a part of this organization and changed my life. I understand that part. And I want to do so much so early for this organization, and I feel like I didn't get that done, but understand the love that I have for, you know, what they have done for me, I want to give more. So you hear me saying I'm going to make sure I get around, you know, Trevor. I'm going to get around the defense, whatever I got to do off season, make sure we get this tight bond. So when we start, you know, we're ahead of the curve. And, you know, I'm willing to do that because I love this city so much because of what it already gave me. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get this team back and this organization back to where we need to be. So to get this win with this momentum going into next year, I hope everybody feel the same way of how can I get better? What can I do to do more? Because I don't want the season to happen again, and we got to get this flipped around. And I hope everybody feel the same way. And that's why it was so great to have this win, you know, to go in the offseason with this momentum, knowing that we can do and take over whatever we decide we want to. So I'm excited for it.
We got time for one more. We'll go to Mark.
Shaq, I was to ask you, you know, this past week has obviously been rough, starting with the Patriots game, and then the social media, everybody shows up in clowns or whatever. And I'm kind of two questions. Did you see any of those multicolored hairs in the stands while you were out there today? And I mean, how offended were you guys going in? Like a chip on the shoulder, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, but I don't really get into all the social media or the clown suits and stuff. I think I seen someone snatch one off after we got a turnover. So I don't know if he was trying to hide that he had the clown suit on. I don't know, but I don't get into all that. You know, when I go and play, I play for the true fans, and the true fans know who they are. You know, the ones who don't have to put on those suits, the ones who gonna be ride or die for this team no matter what, no matter the outcome. And those are the guys who I go and fight for. Those are the ones who I know supporting. So, you know, everything else outside of that doesn't matter. I care about this team too much for me to be worrying about outside noise. So, yeah.
Shaq, real quick, I have some fans tweeting at me asking about the boombox celebration.
Oh.
Can you elaborate? I don't know what that is. Can you elaborate?
You know, usually after a win, I have the boom box. You know what? Maybe after this interview, I'm going ahead and run the locker room. I found that boom box and a couple players, and I'm going ahead and turn up a little bit. You know, put that out there so everybody can see. Because they is right. I got to get my boom box. All right, guys. Appreciate you.
Well, that is Shaq Griffin. Shaq Griffin came over here on a big deal, free agent deal. And, you know, Shaq played pretty well this year, had some opportunities to pick passes off early and didn't do it. But I think overall, he played pretty good football, pretty consistent football for the Jaguars. I think you like what he said about, hey, they gave me a lot of money. I want to make sure I reciprocate and deliver for the organization. Even acknowledged that he might have tried to do too much of that too soon. So he's a good player and a good guy in this room. They need more of him. I mean, they need more good football players here in Jacksonville. And they're going to have to spend, Dan, in the offseason to do so.
They definitely are. I've been sitting on this for a while. I've been wanting to use it. But in summing up today's game, Brett, I think it's fair to say that the Colts' playoff chances came and went.
Very good, Dan. Very good.
Yeah, they got to spend money, dude. You got $70 million. You got to spend money.
Can you name that player? It's with a mask on. It might be tough. It's Adam Gotsis, Dan.
We're really going to listen to Adam Gotsis?
Let's get a couple minutes with Adam Gotsis and see what he has to say. Had some big moments.
Can somebody let him know we'd like to hear from Trevor?
Yeah, I think Trevor.
How about them Jags?
At least this week we're not hearing just from Trevor.
Yes.
Here's Adam Gotsis.
Well, they tried him.
That carries over?
Yeah, 100%. You know, not just for the guys staying here, but for guys moving on. It's always nice to finish with a good taste in your mouth, you know, on the end of the game. But huge carryover. You know, you look at their record and what they did this year, and then to know going into the offseason that, if we can do that, hey, we're right in that division hunt. You know, we can, in my eyes, we can win our division. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter when, we can line it up, and if we play like that on defense, it's going to be a long day for any offense. So, you know, it's right there, and we see it in the building. So it's now just developing that consistency over the offseason, over the, you know, the break, and coming back next year guns blazing. Do it all again.
Adam, what's it like in the locker room right here? in the locker room after, a season like this, but to get this victory and to knock out a divisional opponent from the playoffs, just what that atmosphere is like and what you feel from this team and your teammates as you step forward.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Because you're obviously elated for the game that you just had, but it's also disappointment for what could have been this year. If we just executed a bit better in some situations throughout the season, it's unknown what's got to do. So, I hope everyone goes back, looks at the missed opportunities from this year, learns from it, and we can get better as a group. The guys coming back, put all the chips in again, get together this offseason, start developing, and come back knowing that we can roll with the top dogs in our division and in the league. We took out Buffalo this year. We took out Indy this year, two of the high-powered offenses around the league. And, it just shows that when we're on fire, man, we can beat anyone. So, that's something to hold our hats on and go into the offseason and continue working. Across the board, it's right there. So, it's right there to grasp. We just got to go get it.
Adam, two-parter. Number one, I know that you trained in the offseason with Smoot, with Josh. What did it mean to see those two guys do what they did and end their season the way they did, and what is your relationship like? And then secondly, did you know about Smoot needing one more sack to hit that bonus? You didn't?
I didn't. If I knew, I would have done everything for him, man. Smoot's one of my homies, and just to train with those guys this offseason, they really developed me as a player. Just took my game to a next level. Those guys have been dominant since they've come in the league. I know a spotlight's just been put on them a bit more this year, but you turn on Smoot's film, probably the most unblocked DN, is destroying these tackles. Josh is a whole nother level as well. So just to be able to work with them this offseason was huge coming into this year. I think building that chemistry in offseason is big, and just to see them develop and have a hell of a year, both of them, it's just been awesome. And, hats off to our coaching staff, Tosh Lupoy, Sterling Lucas, Zach Orr, all the guys helping out in the D-line room. Some of the games this year, without them, it's a team. So, it's been a hell of a year for those guys personally, and, they helped me with my year as well. I feel like I had a decent year, and, that's kudos to them for doing their jobs and us working as a unit.
Adam, the offense got the ball first and scored a touchdown for the first time since the Denver game. In addition to whatever that does for the offense's confidence, what does it do for you guys to run on the field first time in the game, knowing that you're not playing from behind, that the other guys are?
Yeah, it's always nice to know that the offense goes down there and scores and gets points. But a lot of the time, it's regardless of what they do, we got to go play defense. Obviously, it's a bit different. The coordinators can call the game differently when the score swayed the other direction. But to start out and just see the offense come out and do what they did and march the ball down the field like that, it's demoralizing for their team. Their offense probably wasn't expecting it, so then their offense come out starting a little slow, and we come out on fire. We got all the momentum, and we got to keep it. So super proud of the offense. They've had an up and down year, a bit tough in some situations, but they came out and got the job done today. So again, to them, it shows that they can do it too, right in the division. So if we can fire on cylinders like this, no reason we can't win this division.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. Thank you.
Well, that is the Australian accent of Adam Gotsis.
Scintillating.
Gotsis. I'll tell you, we said this.
Coming up next, the punter.
You need players like Gotsis and Smoot on a football team to add to your rotation, right? Yeah. Smoot more so than Gotsis. But yes. Gotsis is a guy that makes some plays in the run game and made some, like 4 or 5 plays today, some big ones. But even through the course of the season, he's not a big money guy. You need those players on the roster. But there's not enough big guys, like blue chip guys the Jacksonville Jaguars have.
In our heyday, we had a guy named Rob Meyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
Perfect.
football player.
Tyson Alualu was that guy for a long time.
Player. You need those guys, but you can find those guys.
Absolutely.
We need stars.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Playmakers.
That's the problem.
We need receivers who can change the game. Like, again, there's only so many Jamar Chases, but that play he made last week, you got to find a guy who can catch a 20-yard slant, plant his foot, and go 50 more.
Well, the shame of it is the Jags have passed on a couple of those kind of guys in the draft because they're picking players like C.J. Henderson and Caleb on Chason instead. By the way, Chason, and what's the future for him, depending on a new coaching staff? Taven Bryan might have played he wasn't active, so he might be done in Jacksonville uniform. They start to turn the page a little bit. Maybe they turn the page. The whole movement here with the Clowns was fire Bulky. be. And what will Shad Khan now do that the season is over? He retained him through the end of the season, which, by the way, you kind of had to do. He didn't have to make an announcement on the GM once Urban Meyer left or the last couple of weeks. But with the report from Ian Rappaport a couple of weeks ago that Trent Baalke's a part of it, now what for the Jaguars? Will he confirm that, or will he fire Baalke and will they move on as a regime?
I think he stays, because why would he be doing the interviews if he wasn't staying? Why would you want him?
It's a fair question. I don't think he's staying.
You don't?
No, I don't, because the thing I believe, even if Shad wants to keep him, I think he'll find out in NFL circles and in these coaching interviews.
Found out by now.
Well, but the interviewees will tell him, say, I don't want to work with him, potentially.
Well, they're sitting on the Zoom call and they're telling that with Baalke right there?
Well, when you get offered the job, you say, hey, I'm going to take the job, but I'm not sure I want to bring my own GM in.
Yeah.
You can certainly say that. You have leverage. By the way, the Denver job is now open, so now they have some more competition. Looks like
Minnesota?
Houston, maybe even Minnesota.
Yeah.
So they're good.
Chicago.
If you're Doug Peterson, now you say that's a front-runner guy. You either go get him or he's going to have plenty of options now over the next week or so to go pick his job.
But you don't have to, as we've learned, and we've had a great opportunity over the last decade to study coaching changes.
Yeah.
You don't. Oh, look, this is fantastic, man.
We got Laquon Treadwell.
This is great.
Well, let's hear from Laquon Treadwell for a couple of minutes.
This is the last one. We're leaving after this.
You don't want to hear?
Yeah, I was super excited to get a ball to my son this afternoon.
What does this do for your long-term future here? Or do you think that this will help you maybe sign here going into next year and keep it going?
Well, I think every game that I played in helped that case. I want to be here. I enjoyed playing here. I enjoyed the opportunities that I got here, and so I enjoyed growing with Trevor. And if I'm here, we can go into the offseason with momentum, and we can come back and do something special here next year. So it's been in the air a lot in the locker room. We talk a lot about it, but that decision is up to the owners and the staff that's going to come in. And from my perspective, I want to be here.
Hey, Tread, what does off-season momentum really, how does it really carry over? Does it carry all the way to training camp, or does it just give you some motivation to work a little bit harder during those workouts?
For me, in my situation, previous years, just not having a destination or offensive scheme, to game plan for, it played a huge role because I was just training. It's kind of like the quote Devontae Adams said this past week. You go in the off season, you do a lot of drills, and he goes and train on football. And to my point, if I have a quarterback that I know I'm going to be working with in the offensive scheme that I know I'm going to be in, we can go and work on these time and throws and all these different variables that's going to play a huge factor when it comes to training camp, OTAs, and then we can kind of progress faster throughout those times with the coaches and go into the season with great chemistry and timing.
What can you attribute to that comfort level with Trevor Lawrence over these last few weeks, and what do you think about him as a leader stepping forward?
I just contributed to the work that we put in training camp. We were clicking in training camp. He was finding me in training camp. I was making a lot of plays. Unfortunately that stopped because I was cut, and then I was brought back, and then we picked back up on it just due to the fact that we were familiar with each other. We made plays early on in the season, and that first catch versus the Colts, my first start. It just kind of sparked it back up and just allowed him to know that he can still come to me. I'm still valuable. I'm still here. I'm still present, and I'm still going to work to get open for him.
At what point during the week did Marvin Jones come to you or tell you guys, I need 4 for $500,000?
Marv never said anything. It was something that we seen, and I think one of the guys put it in a group chat. We support each other wholeheartedly. So I was telling Marv all game, hey, 7 more, 6 more, 5 more, and whatever the number he was on. And I was just gassing him and gassing Trevor. Like we want to see guys succeed. We want to see guys reach those incentives and go out and take care of their families on and off the field. And we go out and that's what we play for. We play to get stats and to score touchdowns and do all these great things. So. It was exciting to see him get one of the incentives, get the 4 catches. So, wish we could have got to 14, but we fell short.
But he definitely is funding the end of season dinner for you guys, right?
We gotta get the rookies, man. We gotta get the rookies still. We let them off the hook. We threw a dinner for them. We let them off the hook with something light, you know. But we definitely got to get the rookies for that. Go Jags.
All right, that was Laquon Treadwell, and maybe Trevor's coming soon enough.
Let's get an offensive lineman in there now.
Hey, Treadwell had himself a nice season, a big drop over here.
We couldn't get anyone last week.
We
got Trevor and Bevell.
You just are hungry. You're getting mad now.
It's 5 o'clock. It's the bewitching hour. It's time to run.
I know. Come on, Trev. Why's Trev taking so long? Long showers these days.
Trevor's got to get the hair right, I guess. Maybe he's filming a Subway commercial.
It's worth it. It's worth it. Last week we didn't even have him on. It took so long.
How about them Jags?
Well, we'll have a lot of it on Action Sports Jax Primetime. You know, it's interesting. Treadwell said something, right? He's been around the league for a bit, and he actually referred back to what Davante Adams said. He said the ability to work with a quarterback, the ability to work in the same scheme is so helpful because when you get to camp and then you start playing games, you already know everything you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big, like Allen Robinson, we talked to him at the Super Bowl years ago, and I said, like, do you hate Jacksonville? You just didn't want to be there anymore? He's like, no, not at all. He said the problem with Jacksonville is they continue to change coaches so much that it's too much. You can't get used to anything. And so it's very difficult when you don't have continuity. And here we are again, by the way. Like, there's no changing that. Laquon, if you're around, you're going to have a new offense. You won't have a new quarterback, but you'll have a new offense. And Trevor's going to have to deal with the same thing going into next year. He's going to have to learn new language, new playbook, and everything else. But after what he dealt with, that might be the easiest thing.
Alex Smith set that record. He went 6 for his first 6.
Yeah, he did.
6 years.
Might have been 7 for 7, Dan.
Offensive coordinators. It was terrible, and it affects you.
It does. Yeah.
The Jaguars have to find the right guy, and if they do, the future. Again, I said this earlier this week, and I'll say it again. The AFC South is not stock full of star quarterbacks. If Trevor is that franchise guy like we hope he is, okay, that should give us hope. That will give us a chance to jump up into the Tennessee and Indy stratosphere and battle, because Tennessee and Indy have much better rosters than we do. But Ryan Tannehill and Carson Wentz, in my opinion, are not franchise guys. They're good enough guys, but they're not franchise guys. Trevor Lawrence has the chance to be a difference maker, to be, I mean,
by the way, the Titans are the number 1 seed.
The touchdown throw he threw to Laviska Shenault that was dropped today.
Incredible play.
There's very few quarterbacks in this league can elude, step up, and out of the corner of your eye, see a guy. Oh, good. Let's hear what Marvin Jones is going to do with his $500,000.
Here we go. Record a new song.
Anyone have a question?
So 80 would have been $1 million.
Every team goes up 5.
Okay, I got you.
It caps out at 90 and 1,000.
Did you tell Daryl or Trevor about that?
No, I think everybody knew. I didn't even have to say anything. It was all over social media, and I'm not on social media, so that was like the topic of the team. So I think the message was pretty clear.
But, I mean, how cool is that, though, that there were, like Daryl Bevell was in here saying, yeah, we love to get guys that stuff.
Well, of course, it's good, because you hear a lot of stories, and I've know a lot of stories of people that don't get it, but hey, you just go out there, and my thing is go out there and be you, and it'll happen. So so it did, and we got the win. So
would you like to share one of those stories?
No, because that's for somebody else. I don't.
This looked to be one of the most comfortable games for Trevor in the pocket, reading the offense, executing for all of you guys. Why was today the day that everything clicked?
Obviously, we had a great game plan, and he's been looking great all week, and confident, comfortable. He told me once he got off from warming up, he was like, oh yeah, you better be running because I'm about to sling it. And I was like, oh yeah, you better sling it because I'm gonna be running. So he felt great, and I think it was just everybody was just comfortable and confident and let loose. Just nothing matters but us just going out there and having fun. And it's bittersweet because it was the last game. So I think going forward, everybody just play free. Play with no worries and do your job and be confident in the game plan and in your abilities. So I think everybody did that today, and it showed out there.
I know it's not necessarily the day since we're fresh off the game, and I don't know if we're talking to you tomorrow, you specifically or not, but when you look back at you guys going up to Clemson, throwing with Trevor, everything you have been through the last 4 months, what did today mean to you?
It meant a lot, and like I said in an interview, a couple of days ago, you always want that good taste in your mouth at the end of the season. We've been through a hell of a lot, as a team, mentally, and so just to come out here and put on a display like that. Just like I said, it's bittersweet. Like everybody's jumping around, and then they're like, "Damn! Like we could have been doing this." Oh, see, I'm about to. We could have been doing this the whole time. So, you kind of get that little feeling. But hey, it's just great to go out like this. Great to see a smile on everybody's faces, and great to look towards the future, whatever that is, with whoever's in the locker room. So.
Hey, Marvin, some of the guys have been throwing around the word momentum heading into the offseason. What does offseason momentum really look like? What does it do for a player as they prepare for next year?
It does a lot because, quite honestly, you don't play football for another, 17 weeks until you start getting back in here and competing and stuff like that. Momentum, it means a lot to a player. Especially a young player. When you, we had young guys out there, DT, Cisco, everybody. They were out there and, they did a fantastic job. So, for them, this is the last thing that's on their mind. So when they're on their off season, they're going to think, how good they played and how great their potential is, and it gives you that edge coming into the next season. So momentum is everything, and vice versa. If you don't have that momentum now, you're sitting there, thinking of, oh, I should have did this, I should have did this, oh, we could have did this, and you're like, dang, I can't wait to just go back and erase this, from my head. So it's important for players, coaches, everybody. So.
Marvin, dealing with the coaching change and some of the drama off the field and whatnot, where did the leadership come from this season from inside the locker room?
I think that was important. What we dealt with this season, nobody, in their right mind would have thought, when you came here that was going to happen. So it was great to have the leaders and the people in our locker room that we had. To really keep the team together, because there was, it was hard, So, and I took pride on myself to make sure I can't, get in one of those moments to where I'm going off and, because everybody's following me, So it's good for, it was good for me and a lot of leaders on this team to really just keep the young guys and be like, hey, this is not the NFL. Don't think this is like the NFL. Like we have to. This is what you do. This is what you do. Follow me in this, and like don't do this and do this, and follow here and stuff like that. So the leaders on our team within the locker room did an amazing job. With the circumstances that we had and all the challenges that we had, facing, internally and externally. So I tip my hats off, to everybody in the locker room, the OG. I guess I'm the OG, and the youngest person. Just sticking together and having fun together. So,
Thanks, Mark.
Boom. Y'all take care.
Thank you. Trevor will be in here.
All right, that is Marvin Jones. He needed 4 catches for $500,000, and he got it. Come on in here, Dan.
Next up, Tavon Austin.
No,
he didn't play today.
Trevor Lawrence is coming up next. Trevor's coming up next. But $500,000, cool dollars. I would expect Marvin to be back. It's a 2-year deal, I think, for 20. But
I'd like to have him be like the 4th guy.
He might be, yeah. He might.
DJ Chark has got to be back.
I would think.
You got to keep DJ Chark.
Here's the problem. Guys like Godwin now coming off ACL.
Go get Mike Williams with the Chargers. Draft 2 guys at the top. re-sign DJ, Marvin Jones, and away we go.
Yeah, and Laviska is maybe just fighting for a spot after this year.
I mean,
I think Laviska has the ability to be a good player.
Yeah.
But he had a miserable year. Dan, if you want to talk about 2021, if you give me one player that I would say it sums it up, it's Laviska. I thought he would be the guy to take the next step with Trevor.
Yeah.
He took a step back, and a lot of it on his own. Didn't know the routes sometimes, drop passes. You were trying to mention that one throw over there in the ends. I mean, that was a beautiful throw. It goes right through his hands. I mean, if you were in high school, you'd be complaining you dropped that one.
Laviska Shenault, too, is a member of the NFL body team.
We were saying that countdown and kickoff there.
Yeah, pregame. I mean, this guy is put together. I mean,
he's a specimen now.
I mean, it's just, but he doesn't have that speed that the NFL has to have. And so if he can't catch the football, then it's a real problem.
Well, that's the thing. If you're not going to have the speed, he has a toughness that few have.
Right.
So he can still be very effective, but you got to be able to catch the football. You can have some drops. You can't have as many as he had.
Every time I look up, he's got 3 or 4 drops a week.
Yeah, the Jags had over 35 drops this season.
Yeah, I don't
and
know
they had 5 today.
It really depends on how you score them, because you can look at different sites and see. I found a site a couple weeks back where they were in the middle of the pack, and I was like, "There's no way this is correct." And it was like 13 drops. I was like, "Wait a minute."
Well, that's not right.
That is not.
I saw 32 as the most recent, and then they had a handful more today. I will say this: think about back to this year, and think about a great play that someone made for Trevor. And I would think Marvin Jones had that heck of a catch. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a Bills game or something, but he had a heck of a catch. Right. The one-hander. Outside of that, do you remember a play where somebody was like, "Wow, what a play they made for Trevor"?
Or a play, I've talked to you about this numerous times, where the guy with the ball juked the guy in front of him.
Made a miss.
When was the last time a Jaguar offensive player made somebody miss?
I don't know.
I really honestly can't remember.
Yeah, and you combine that. Yeah, you combine that with some lack of scheme on the coaching side at times, and then Trevor's going to play like a rookie at times, and this offense was abysmal. Now they scored 26 points. They actually, with the 26 points...
Oh, yeah, they went over 23.
They went over 23, but the 26 actually matches the 2000 and I'm sorry, it eclipses now 2011.
Oh, we got enough points.
We got enough points in an extra game.
Hallelujah! Oh yeah,
right.
Extra game. Less points per game.
Yes, less points. It's the worst season offensively from a scoring output in team history. I think if you do the average.
Even today they bogged down.
Inside the 5 twice.
Yeah, But again, if you get that kind of defense, you can win some football games. And that's what they were able to do. And actually, it's probably, I'm more of the, you're 2-14. You got to go for it. Well, they kept kicking, and then those points started to add up.
They did.
So it's probably smart by.
And they ran the ball, and they chewed clock, and they shortened the game.
Yeah.
So Jags got the win 26-11. We think Trevor Lawrence is coming out. Let me ask you this, though. We've got a minute or so, and then we'll wrap up, and then we got primetime later tonight.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll hear from Trevor for a couple minutes and then say goodbye.
Okay.
Trent Baalke as the GM.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, is he still the GM, or have we heard?
Yeah.
And when will the coach be hired? Now, with openings starting to pop up, the Jags have already done at least a handful of interviews. They have a couple more this week. Yeah. How soon will Shad Khan make a decision? We are a week later than normal in the NFL season, remember?
Yeah.
But it's usually right about this time that he has made a decision in the past. So are we looking at a new coach in a week?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I think that the first thing you have to do is decide on Baalke. I think he's staying. You think he's going, so that'll be interesting. And then what kind of combination are you going to create? Because if you turn and remove Trent Baalke and then hire a coach, then you have to go find a general manager.
That's true.
So a lot going on with the Jaguars, obviously. Regardless of whatever he does, here's hoping that Shad Khan, who really honestly wants to win, trust me when I tell you that, but if you were to grade his coaching and general manager hires, they would all be Fs.
Yeah.
All of them.
No,
there's been a lot of them.
There's nothing that, by the way, a guy like Trent Baalke has done to earn the opportunity to be the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars either. And nobody else would hire him around the league, so why would Shad Khan?
Wasn't even proactive this season, during the regular season, when you had a chance to add some players with an eye towards the future, guys who got cut who are good football players for whatever reason, like the linebacker from Houston.
Yeah, Cunningham.
Or DeSean Jackson for this year.
Or Odell Beckham. I got good news for you. We're not going to hear from Trevor until later tonight. We have to do a news cut-in. So we have taken up too much time on the postgame show.
I tried to tell you.
We could have cut this off about 20 minutes ago if producer Olivia would have told us that we only had until like 5:50.
She dropped the ball again, and quite frankly, I'm just thankful that we were able to hear from Laquon Treadwell,
absolutely.
Marvin Jones,
Adam Gotsis, very good.
Guys we haven't heard from.
I'm not going to complain because I complained last week when we only heard from Trevor Lawrence. So thank you, Jags PR, for bringing out all those people to talk. We'll have Action Sports Jax Primetime coming up tonight, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. Hear from Trevor Lawrence, who had a really good day in his finale of his rookie season. For Dan Hicken, Stuart Weber, Marcel Robinson, Olivia Tassley, the entire team. I'm Brett Martineau. The Jags win. Knocked the Colts out of the playoffs. 26-11 was the final.
Came and wins.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. Thanks for watching the Action Sports Jax postgame show. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.